The Clerk's Tale, Part 3. It happened as it often does in life. While yet the child was suckling at her breast, the Marquis, in obsession for his wife, longed to expose her constancy to test. He could not throw the thought away or rest, having a marvelous passion to assay her, needless, God knows, to frighten and dismay her. He had essayed her faith enough before, and ever found her good. What was the need of heaping trial on her more and more? Though some may praise the subtlety, indeed, for my part, I should say it could succeed only in evil. What could be the gain of putting her to needless fear and pain? But this was how he fed his prepossession. He came alone one night to where she lay, with troubled features and a stern expression, and said, "Griselda, do you recall the day I came and took you from your poor array, and raised you to the height of nobleness? You've not forgotten that, or so I guess. I say, Griselda, this present dignity to which I raised you cannot have, I know, made you forgetful of your debt to me, who took you up from what was poor and low, for all the little wealth that you could show. Take heed of every word I say to you. No one is there to hear it but us two. You may remember your arrival here into this house. It's not so long ago, and though I love you much and hold you dear, my noblemen are far from doing so. They say it is a scandal and a show that they should serve you, lifted from the tillage, as you have been born in a little village. And now you've borne a daughter, all the more. No doubt they murmur phrases such as these, but I desire, as I did before, to live my life among them, and in ease. I cannot then ignore contingencies, and must dispose your daughter as is best, not as I wish to, but as they suggest. But still, God knows it's painful to me too, yet without your full knowledge and consent. I will do nothing, but it is for you to acquiesce and show no discontent. Summon your patience, show that they were meant, those promises you gave me to obey, down in your village on our wedding day." Apparently unmoved as she received what he had said, no change in her expression or tone of voice, Griselda, unaggrieved, replied, "My child and I are your possession, and at your pleasure, on my heart's profession, we are yours, and you may spare or kill what is your own. Do, therefore, as you will. Nor is there anything, God save my soul, that pleasing you displeases me, nor is there anything that I could crave to have, or dread to lose, but you," said she. "This is my heart's will, and shall ever be. This may no length of time, no death deface. My heart will never turn or change its pace." If he were gladdened at her mild reply, there was no sign upon his face to show, but gravely, with unrelenting eye, he gazed at her. At last he turned to go. Soon after this, within a day or so, he told the man in secret what he held was needful, and sent him to Griselda. He was a sort of secret agent, one that had been ever faithful in pursuing important tasks, when wickedness is done. Such men are very useful in the doing. He loved and feared his master, and reviewing what was commanded of him, made his way with silent stalk to where Griselda lay. "Madam," the fellow said, "I must be pardoned for doing that which I am constrained. You are too wise to let your heart be heartened. You know a lord's command must be sustained, and not refused, although it be complained against and wept for. Servants must obey, and so will I. There is no more to say." "It is commanded that I take this child." He said no more, but grabbed the innocent. Despitefully his countenance is wild, as if he would have slain it ere he went. Griselda had to suffer and consent, and like a lamb she lay there meek and still, and let the cruel fellow do his will. He was a man of ominous ill fame, in voice and feature ominous as are such, and ominous the hour at which he came. Alas, her daughter that she loved so much would, as she thought, be murdered at his touch. Nevertheless she wept, Nevertheless she wept not, nor lamented. It was her husband's will, and she consented. She found her voice at last, and she began, humbly imploring not to be denied this mercy, as he was a gentleman, to let her kiss the child before it died. She took it to her breast with terrified and stricken face, and lulled it in her loss. She kissed it then, and signed it with the cross, saying with love, "Farewell, O sacrificed, O blessed child that I shall never see. Look, I have marked thee with the cross of Christ. He is thy Father, may he comfort thee, who died for sake of us upon a tree. Thy little soul I offer in his sight, since thou shalt die for sake of me tonight." And had there been a nurse with her, God knows she would have thought it pitiful to see. Well might a mother then have wept her woes, yet she was grave, and gazing steadfastly, as one who suffers all adversity, in meek submission, turned with sorrow-laden spirit, and said, "Take back your little maiden." "Go now," she said, "and do as you are bidden. But one thing let me beg of you, your grace. Bury the little body, be it hidden, unless my lord forbade it, in some place that beasts and birds can never trace." Yet not a word in answer would he say. He took the little child and went his way. Reporting to the Marquis once again what she had said, how looked, if reconciled. As briefly, point by point, he made all plain, and having done, he gave him up the child. And though some touch of tenderness beguiled his master yet, he held his purpose still, as lords will do that mean to have their will. He bade the fellow secretly to take the child, and wrap the softest winding round her little form, and carefully to make a chest to bear it in. And then he bound the man on pain of death, that not a sound of his intention should be uttered, dumb on whether he was going or whence come. But to Bologna, to the Marquis's sister, the Countess of Penoro, he must go, taking the child, and he must there enlist her to help him in this matter, and bestow all fostering care, so that the child might grow in gentle grace, but above all to hide whose child it was, whatever should betide. The man went off, and did as he was bidden. Now let us watch the Marquis, as he ranged in quick imagination for some hidden sign in his wife, whether she was estranged. Was there a chance word showing she had changed toward him? But he still could never find her anything but serious and kind, as glad, as humble, as quick to serve, and in her love as she was wont to be. In everything the same, she did not swerve, and of her daughter not a word said she. There was no sign of that adversity to see upon her, and her daughter's name she never used in earnest or in game.